Framing or installing hanging hardware to your artwork for galleries can look a little different than hanging artwork in your home. To help you present your artwork in the best possible way for gallery spaces, here are some best practices to keep in mind. You may need the following supplies and tools to get your artwork ready to hang. All the supplies needed can be found at local crafting, art supply, or hardware stores. Frame: canvas or 2D artwork, streak-free glass cleaner, cleaning cloth or paper towels, cotton gloves to avoid fingerprints, screw eyes or D-ring hooks and screws, wire cutting pliers, screwdriver, hanging wire suitable for the weight of your artwork, marker or pen, labels, archival tape or painter's tape, a drill, and a measuring tape. Hanging hardware to avoid for non-residential artwork would be picture hangers, sawtooth hangers, fishing line, yarn, string, tape, or other improvised non-wire alternatives. How to prepare a frame with D-rings. Prepare drill bit for pilot holes. A good way to avoid drilling too deep and through your frame is to mark your drill bit with a marker or painter's tape. Make a mark even with the length of your chosen screws. This will make it easier to see when you've drilled a sufficient depth. Make sure your canvas or frame is laying in the correct direction before proceeding. It's a good idea to mark the back of your frame or canvas with an arrow pointing to the top so that you mark and drill your frame or canvas in the correct location. Double check that the screws for your hanging hardware won't punch through your canvas or frame. Next, measure down each side of your frame to where you'll install the D-rings. Placement of your fasteners impact the way your art will sit against the wall. For example, if you make your placement too high, the hanging clips or other gallery hanging hardware may be visible over the top of your artwork. Too low, and the frame or canvas will tilt out and away from the wall at the top. If you make your placement just right, the frame or canvas will sit comfortably against the wall with only minimal tilt. A good guideline is to install your D-rings or screw eyes within the top third of your frame, or 3 to 6 inches from the top of your frame. For this example, we are installing the D-rings at 4 3/4 inches from the top of the frame. Measure twice and mark your frame. Make sure the base of the D-ring does not hang over the inside edge of the frame so that you can still place your artwork inside. Drill the pilot holes for your D-ring screws. And don't skip this step. Drilling a pilot hole in the frame before using screws does two great things. First, it helps get the screw started, but most importantly, it helps prevent the wood of your frame from splitting. Attach the D-rings. If you look closely at your D-rings, you'll see that each side is a little different. When you attach them to the frame, make sure that the flat side is face down against the frame. This will give you the most secure result. Also, make sure that the D-ring does not protrude past the inside edge of the frame. Now it's time to clean the glass inside the frame with a streak-free cleaner. Take a lot of care to make sure you get all of the corners and all of the surfaces of the glass before proceeding. If you're using a mat to frame your artwork, make sure you have it face side down. You can check for the face side by looking for a bevel. Place your artwork into the frame. If you're using a mat, make sure you check the placement of your artwork and tape it to the inside of the mat to keep it from moving. To prevent bugs or dust from accumulating in the frame, you can also tape around all the seams. Just take care to smooth out any wrinkles as you tape. Replace the back of the frame and secure. Now, give your D-rings a slight upward angle and tighten the screws fully to secure. Now it's time for your wire. Cut a length of wire. Give yourself a couple inches of wire past the frame so that you have some to use to twist back on itself. Thread wire equally through both D-rings while leaving some slack in the wire. Make sure not to give the wire too much slack, otherwise it will show above the frame. But give the wire about an inch of space between the top wire and the top of the frame. This leaves some room for a gallery hook. When you're happy with the wire's slack, go ahead and pinch the wire together with pliers. Snugly wrap excess wire back on itself and, again, pinch with pliers to secure it around the D-rings. Now the final step is to clean the glass and frame with a streak-free cleaner and handle the frame with gloves to prevent fingerprints. How to prepare a canvas with screw eyes. Measure down the side of the canvas frame and mark your desired placement for the screw eyes. Just like with D-rings, place the screw eyes within the top third of your canvas. For this example, we marked about 6 inches down from the top of the canvas. Unlike D-rings, screw eyes are attached to the frame from the inside, not the back. Some wood frames are soft enough to drive screw eyes into them without a pilot hole or tools, but pliers are a useful tool to drive in the screws. However, if you're having difficulty starting the screws, you can use a drill to make a pilot hole for your screw eyes, just like we did for the D-rings. If you are having difficulty starting the screw eyes with your non-dominant hand, work smarter, not harder, and flip the canvas over to use your dominant hand instead. Cut a length of wire which extends a few inches past each side of the canvas and thread it through the holes of each eye. Leaving some slack for a gallery hook, pinch and twist wire back on itself to secure it to the screw eyes. Once your wire is attached, label or sign the back of your frame or canvas with your name and an arrow indicating which way is up. This will assist gallery staff to properly hang your artwork and identify it with name or title labels. Now it's time to enjoy your framed artwork. We hope that by following these best practices, your artwork will be able to be displayed in the best possible light and be enjoyed by the public.